Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you both for being here today, and thank you for your service. General Van Ovost, the California Air Resources Board has a proposal that would significantly impact the ability of the National Rail Network to support the movement of Department of Defense equipment and material deployment to the West Coast. This proposal would impose unrealistic emission standards and require zero-emission locomotives, which do not exist because that technology is not even commercially available at this point in time. And this means that about 65% of the nation's locomotives would be prohibited from operating in California starting in 2030. What would the operational impact be if railroads could not service routes in California or had to divert cargo to other areas to meet the DoD logistics requirements?
Senator, we rely every day on this nation's transportation network, whether it's seaports, it's rail, or it's roads. So when I think about the reduction in capacity across California, I have 15 nodes in California that we use from 2 different railroad lines, and we have 5 ports, one of which is our only West Coast ammunition port for containerized ammunition, which is critical to our operational plans. And of course, we have close relationships with the railroad industry, and so we are working with them as this is emerging, and they're understanding what the implications are. Initially, I believe that any increased costs will be passed directly on to the customer, but I am concerned about the technology and their ability to recapitalize between now, the readiness of now, and the readiness of future if they have to transition.
Have you expressed these concerns to the administration?
I have not.
Do you plan to?
In my normal course of action through the Secretary of Defense, if this is going to impact national security, I absolutely will.
Thank you. When we look at the requirements that you have and the plans that you have, if we are seeing conflict take place in the Indo-Pacific, how would a surge of forces be impacted?
Yes, ma'am, we think about options every day, and we run several planning events and several simulations that would occur around the globe, these globally integrated plans, should we have to surge for an event like the events after October 7th. And so we think about it, and we run these simulations, and we ensure that we have readiness for the fleet. The most important thing is to ensure not only do we have the capacity, but it's a credible capacity to operate in the environment we expect to be in. We expect it to be contested, and an example right there is the Red Sea.
Thank you. General Cavoli, I'm concerned about the increasing cooperation between Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, which we're seeing the impact of in real time with Russia's war against Ukraine. How is UCOM altering its posture to address the strategic dilemmas created by these partnerships?
Thank you, Senator. The first thing we've done is we've responded to the Russian aggression by bolstering our presence along with NATO's presence on the eastern flank. We did that over the last 2 years. NATO moved very quickly after the invasion to establish new battle groups and to increase the size of the existing battle groups on the eastern flank and to thicken the air policing, that is the air defense efforts that we were doing. U.S. UCOM was a part of that. In fact, U.S. UCOM led some of that with U.S. unilateral deployments as sort of seed corn to get things going. We've continued that, and we've actually regularized the procedures, and those are going to become long-term deployments that our allies have out there. The second thing we've been doing is tightening our air and missile defense. I'm under instruction from the 32 heads of state and government to tighten our air and missile defense. With regard to the connections among the countries, we work very closely with these adversarial countries who have formed this network that's profoundly against our interests. We are working very closely with the interagency across all the instruments of national power to try to interrupt that and to hinder their ability to cooperate. We have, based on my intelligence section, my J2 section, something called Task Force Champion, which focuses on this question, those relationships, and feeds information to the interagency to take action through a variety of different means.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.